thanks for that. So I am, I'm Norman Rafferty from the Undisclosed Location. We're here with the mighty and assembled crew. You're all looking good. As I look over here where the camera is. We're still doing more of the Urban Jungle Astounding Science, which is everything you've ever wanted in a role-playing game because it's furry, it's retro, and it's future.
It's everything at once for everybody.
It's the past and the future. And
all the time zones you don't want to be in.
It's the past, the future, and the alternative.
Or no, all the time zones you want to be in besides, you know what I mean.
Yep. It's Eternal September. We have assembled a crew today. I believe we are on the internet. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and be the game host today. So I'm going to go ahead and ask everyone to quickly introduce their characters in the order they are on the Roll20. So we're going to start with Griffin. Tell me who Boris Blazkowicz is.
Hey, Boris Blazkowicz, the fastest rocketeer beyond Mars. He's a carefree bear. I'm sorry, let's see. Bear, Daredevil, Starchild. There we go. That's the list. And of course, his motto is let nobody hold you back. He's got a personal goal to get some publicity.
Wow. Didn't you already get some publicity?
I don't think so. Last time I tried bringing it up, and I guess we just didn't. If you want to say it did, we could cover that later.
Okay. Well, no, because you're going to get in the news for the thing that we did the last game. So, is there a particular gift you were looking for, or?
Good question. I'm not really sure. I'll get back to you on that in a minute.
Okay.
It's been a bit.
Well, as an elephant, you have brawling. Do you have wrestling?
Actually, yes, I'm a bear.
Screw it. You don't have the gift of veteran, so I'm going to go ahead and give you the gift of veteran.
Wonderful.
Because you beat up a bunch of people firsthand. So
that actually makes a lot of sense.
You'll be the prime candidate for that. Okay, and also speaking of prime candidates, next, Theta, tell us about Dr. Corvus Quasar.
Yeah, Dr. Corvus Quasar, mechanical Martian crackpot. Personality is hubristic. My motto is Eureka! I have no current goals. I have a flaw of emotionless, though.
No goals and flaw of emotionless. How very matter of fact. And speaking of matter of fact, Arkloid, tell us about Ralph Summers.
Yes, I'm Arkloid. I play Ralph Summers, the egghead raccoon safecracker. He is an ex-con with the personality of high strung and the motto when the door closes, break a window.
Yeah, and you're the odd lot out because you're actually an ex-felon, I think.
Yep.
Gone straight.
And I was the most heroic one in the last session. Go figure. I saved.
Well, you were the one who was most. You were the most on mission, which sometimes is pretty boring for people, but it's appreciated. That you actually sorry, I'm looking at stupid crap on the internet. I appreciate that you did the right thing. And speaking of doing the right thing, we're joined by a new player today. Hugo is with us. Hugo, tell us about your character.
Hi, my name is Hugo. I play John Lancer. I am a cat person. My backstory is basically I'm Buck Rogers. I was a pioneering astronaut way back in the dawn of the space age, but an accident caused me to be frozen in ice for decades, after which I was thawed out, and because of the whole interspace aliens, they need all the space pilots they could find, so they just stuck me in another spacesuit and put me on a spaceship and sent me back out into space. Of course,
what else do you know? Besides,
I'm so out of time that the only thing familiar to me is space. So the irony is now, where I was a pioneer, it's my home.
Makes sense to me.
And so with that, my motto is never give up, never surrender. And my goal is to defend my home and at some point perform a crazy stunt on my spaceship.
Okay. Well, by defend your home, you're a member of the Space Patrol. So do you mean defend the people of the Space Patrol? Works for me. Yeah. So John Lancer, completely original character, do not steal. So you're probably a veteran. You were probably one of the heroic space people who was sent into space during the atomic wars, because the game is set in the far-flung future of 1980.
Exactly.
After the atomic wars devastated a lot of Earth, and it was discovered that the real enemy of Earth is the Thermionic Empire, who live on counter-Earth. Because it turns out that not only is there an Earth, but there's another planet completely opposite in the same orbit. But it's run by a totalitarian regime and their unthinking, cold, and remorseless computer. Who could, what greater evil is there than a mechanical brain that is emotionless and thinks of nothing but technology and conquest?
What do you think, Dr. Corvus?
I was waiting for the reply. I have no strong feelings one way or the other. Speaking of no strong feelings, let's introduce the King of the Magicians, Magician of Kings. Piat, tell us about your character.
Hello, I am playing Captain Rondo Proteus, who is a career bureaucrat who realized that if he wanted to get promoted, he had promoted further within the bureaucracy. He needed some field experience. So here he is out here in the field getting his field experience, which is his goal. And we had a little bit of that last adventure. It's kind of exciting. I'm a very by-the-book guy. My motto is document the process and follow it. And if you don't have a process, then you have to make a document and then follow that process. Also, I'm wondering if John Lancer has been, I don't know if he's received any kind of instructional training to update his skills as to the current policies and processes. So we should probably role play that.
I scanned the documents.
They gave him the book. He's got the book.
It's sitting in my quarters. It looks really nice on my shelf.
Right on. Yep. As long as you've memorized all the regulations, Star Patrol regulations, we're good.
Yeah,
and that's
right.
Once again, it's almost as if they assigned all the problem children to Captain Proteus here, who's trying to run out his mandatory field service requirement so he can qualify for his pension.
They know I'm the one who can do it.
Excellent. So yeah, I mean, they have the nickname of the Problem Child Squadron. And Captain Proteus had his first trial by fire as he encountered a thermionic agent, and the hatred within that cat's eyes as he stared at you while you kept repeatedly shooting him. That's probably going to haunt you for some time.
Yeah, but luckily I can access, Space Patrol counseling if I fill out Form THX-1138.
Yeah, because we're pulp sci-fi, not new. Help me out here. So there's pulp sci-fi, which is the 30s, and there's new wave sci-fi, which shows up 60s, but mostly the 70s. What do we call the stuff that's in between? Is that golden age sci-fi, or is that something else?
I would say, yeah, golden age sounds good.
It's probably
it might be.
Maybe silver.
Well, because if we're talking to Isaac Asimov, hey guys, who likes deep dives here? Isaac Asimov was pointing out, after 1950, after both atomic weapons and Sputnik were part of the general conversation, Isaac Asimov lamented that science fiction kind of turned away from the kind of gee whiz Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon type big ideas and started getting involved in more realism and grounded ideas, which is a little weird thing to say about the 50s and the 60s if you guys have read any of that sci-fi.
Well, I mean, the 40s was golden age for comics. I don't know if that same applies for
I kind of feel it's
sci-fi.
a transitionary period because a lot of sci-fi was more into the real fictional, pulpy kind of conjecture, because it was really just people assuming what technology was going to be in the future. By the 50s, with the Manhattan Project and the space race, the jet age, there was a lot more general science in the population. So I think a lot more authors started thinking about, well, I can't just say we launched cannons to send people to the moon, because now people know rockets and space and all that. So I think it was more of an effort to make science fiction more science and less fiction.
Which I also think is a weird thing to say, because this is the 60s is the golden age of the comic book, where atomic radiation and is mutating monsters and that kind of stuff. So it's not like it was any less fanciful.
Right. So, but I mean, if you look at back then, that was always considered the lower brow fiction. And then when you say, oh, you want to read real science fiction, you read Ray Bradbury or Isaac Asimov or something like that. By the time you get into the golden age comics, that's kid stuff or like unintelligent people read that stuff.
Yeah.
Which was a big thing back then. Like comics were not considered an intelligent form of literature.
Right. I mean, I'm a big old school sci-fi because I'm a fan of like Heinlein and Piper, which are big influences on me. But I gotta be honest here. Like you read Heinlein and Piper, it's World War II stuff, like just World War II stories, but in space. Like a lot of people, if you go read Starship Troopers, which I recommend, 1/3 of Starship Troopers is just World War II memoir. You could take all of it and just say it was a World War II memoir, and you wouldn't even blink because everything is exactly the same.
I mean, it's hard to escape the fact that World War II as a cultural moment was so like stamped into the collective psyche of the world that it's kind of hard for no one to make references to World War II.
Right. And I think a lot of that's where I'm influenced. Now, the lead writer on this happens to be with us today. That's Piat. So Piat, what would you say like are your major inspirations that made you want to when you wrote up the Space Patrol and that sort of thing?
Sorry, the switch went off weird. Okay. So the first of all, of course, 1930s science fiction, 1940s science fiction, basically from the 20s to the 40s, that period, pulp era, of course, but also the film serials was a big thing for the plotting and so on, because big science fiction film serials started in the 30s. We had Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon, who were actually played by the same actor, curiously enough, and so you're getting a lot of like, as you say, gosh, gee whiz, really exciting stuff. Science is still a little bit outside of the realm of the common person. Like somebody my age in 1930 was born in the 19th century and probably still thinks of like telegrams as like the exciting new thing, right? Whereas the kids in the 1930s are growing up with all sorts of new opportunities they don't necessarily.
Yeah, you would have gone from if you went from 1900s, 1930s, you would have like seen the dawn of electricity. You would have seen the War of the Currents. And well, actually, by 1900, the telephone was pretty much mainstream. But yeah, you would have been in that era where the telephone appeared, radio was rotting people's brains.
Yeah, radio. Like George Orwell said in the 1930s about how nobody in England can eat, but everybody's got a radio. What we've lost in food, we've made up for in electricity. But the idea that I've kind of lost my own thread, so. That's okay. One thing though, if you want to go to the literature of the 1930s, it was a lot more explicitly political in some ways. And science fiction fandom was, you got the left-right split nowadays. You got libertarian and like gay space Marxists on the other side, and kind of the current trend. That had that back then, and like fandom kept on splitting it, like having rifts.
We could talk a lot about the fandom, but I think
sorry.
Thanks for reminding me that your primary inspiration is largely the serials. It's things like the Buck Rogers serial, the Purple Menace, Phantom Menace, the Purple Menace. There's the Phantom Creeps, and there's the Purple Menace. 2 different series. That kind of serial storytelling, which I think does adapt to it, of where you tune in this week to see what the Brave Space Patrol is going to do. I'm trying to remember what the planet colliding one that was on Mystery Science Theater, the one with Planet Ophiuchus or whatever.
Crash of the Moons.
Crash of the Moons, which I think is if you only see one of these, you should go see Crash of the Moons, probably with the MST3K annotations, because that has everything. That has our cast of doddering professor, spunky kid, can-do hero. And stick to that. So we would have the opening crawl because the serials were shown in here. When last we left our heroes, then we have a still, which is like of some weird photograph with text underneath it, of Captain Rondo Proteus successfully prevented the assassination of Sir Tede Badal, the bureaucrat working for the Mercury Conservatory, who was going to announce the plans for the future of mercury mining, when a group of thermionic dissidents using their atomic powered rayguns broke down the wall and came in, and they were but fortunately the assassination was thwarted by the quick and brave actions of our heroes. So when we last left our heroes, you had successfully tracked down the thermionic agent's base on Mercury Station, and you'd also and you'd also have one agent who is currently unconscious. Sometime during this, of course, is the introduction of, so this is before network notes, so they wouldn't come by and say, we really need a heroic male figure for everyone to look up to. And say, what about the bear here? No, whatever. So
He's
John
a little
Lancer
too
is
Russian for the network. Get us
too,
an American one.
Not the right size. It doesn't have the right
pretty.
look.
Yeah, little too. Yeah, doesn't have the right look. What do you mean by look? Moving on from the Hays Code. I forgot to ask: are we pre-Hays Code or post-Hays Code?
What's Hays Code?
Pre-Hays. I would think pre-Hays Code would be more appropriate.
The Hays Code was when people said movies and gangster movies were too violent. They started the rule that it's like, we guys, can't have naked people, but also they went too far the other way. You got to have 1 foot on the floor whenever anyone's kissing.
Yeah, exactly. Like couples couldn't be in the same bed even if they were married.
I think we did disintegrate somebody last session, didn't we? Dr. Corvus.
We did.
We did, but he was bad.
And we're still paying fines, I'm sure.
So that would be okay for pre or post Hays.
Do we have any MPA fans here? The world's smallest nuclear missile. So you still have the agent, and unfortunately the agent is in a coma, which of course makes you wonder, Captain Proteus, do you think he should be do you think your unconscious person should be submitted to the hypnoprobe?
That depends. Is that policy? Do I have to do it? Is that within the parameters of Space Patrol guidelines for dealing with unconscious?
It totally isn't.
Then it isn't?
It completely isn't, because the hypnoprobe is not even a Space Patrol device. You see, the Martians, when they capture people, would go ahead and submit them to the hypnoprobe revolutionary, which of course would read your mind. And in fact, it's theorized that the thermionic people have the same technology. But of course, it could submit your brain to such powerful electricity that if improperly calibrated, it could destroy your brain and submit you to the most horrible agony possible. It's not Space Patrol equipment. It's Martian equipment, and you happen to have a Martian with you.
Dr. Quasar, can you tell me, do you think that this would be an appropriate situation for the hypnoprobe?
Do you want it to be?
Damn it, man! I want your expert opinion.
In my expert opinion, it could be if you want it to be.
He's immoral. He'll do anything.
Is there precedent? Can I make an academics roll or something to?
Why don't you go ahead? So you, being Captain Proteus, you submit yourself to the books. You immediately make a roll of mind in academics.
Right on. Okay.
Because the doctors can't tell you when he wake up. He suffered a lot of radiation, which, as you know, can put people into comas.
Oh. Sorry, I accidentally put on the bonus on that, but it's
what's your favorite use of academics?
No, it should just be, so there's I think those are bonuses there. Hold on.
Favorite use of academics, mind pro precedence.
I'll just take the first 2 dice, so it's 8 and 1. You accidentally put an exclamation point on the end. If you put an exclamation point on the end, it means it's Rollmaster style. So stop rolling like Rollmaster. I know you love Rollmaster.
I'm not trying to. I don't know where it keeps showing up.
Okay. If you're pushing are you pushing the buttons to do it?
Yes, I am, but I'm using the advanced die roller. I think.
Make sure.
There's an option in there.
Yeah, the advanced die rolling where it says
none.
Exploding, set that to none. Okay, everybody take notes here. The captain here, when he was in charge, had an option for exploding. He had it turned off.
Maybe the captain should not have the mind probe in his hands.
What's wrong with little
Clearly,
floating
we
knife
should let the
friends?
immoral metal machine have it.
Hey, did you read the training manual for that device?
To repeat, Piat, you rolled a 1, which means you can evoke the favored use roll if you used your favorite use of academics. I'm assuming that your favorite use of academics is law and bureaucracy.
Absolutely.
So you may re-roll 1-1. Go ahead and roll another D8 for me.
Ooh,
2
There
successes.
we go. Nice.
Okay. The hypnoprobe is banned by Space Patrol. It's considered, by the Neo Geneva Convention. It was used during the atrocities of the atomic wars, and like we said, it has a chance that it could do lasting or irreparable damage.
Yeah, and as I'm leaning over your shoulder, I'm like, hey, how about that? It's illegal too.
We could absolutely not use this. This is
Okay, and
what
what was your
tried,
motto?
tested, and has failed. So
Yep.
no hypnoprobes. I refuse.
Okay, and what was your motto again, Captain Proteus?
Document the process and follow it.
Okay,
So I looked at the documented process and I'm following it. Now,
Well-
I mean, if somebody were to go behind my back and run a hypnoprobe without me knowing about it, well, then I obviously that's out of my hands. But
Is that what you
Hey,
want me to
Corvus,
do,
look out
Captain?
behind the
Here.
captain's back.
This
you would
character
need to
here
apply.
would have absolutely no feelings of guilt or remorse in doing anything from a purely rational and logical point of view. Gee, I don't know.
Okay, so moving on. You confer with the Mercury Station people, and they say, yeah, this person, suffered a lot of violence and stuff like that. We can call you when they come out, but we would recommend that your vigil. We don't know if this person will ever recover. We don't even know what sort of bizarre conditioning the Thermionic Empire had done to this poor individual to make them forsake life and liberty and pursue a path of decadent violence.
those electronic fiends.
So you rendezvous with the rest of your crew. You last session you found the secret radio that the agent was using to converse with the Thermionic Empire and successfully got that to work. So you still have that. You also still have the sheaf of papers that Professor Haselstotz, how is that pronounced? I want to say Professor Haselstoff dumped off on you.
We think we had reviewed that paperwork last time, and that it was talking about the ability to make a really terrible device out of radiogenic material.
Right.
Yes,
Is that correct? Yeah.
But you didn't. You couldn't find enough information. Like you think it's a device, but a lot of it went over even your Martian's head. So you were thinking maybe you should confer. You could confer with another scientific expert. You could submit the report to Space Patrol and possibly get it lost in bureaucracy, or they might never care. You could fly the Thermionic Empire's planet and wage a one squad war against them. Or you could do something I haven't mentioned. Today, Badal, I know his name is Today. Today, Badal, it's French, has rescheduled his meeting for the conference for tomorrow. So you guys, I guess, do you just want to hang around and wait for the next day?
Yeah, we'll wait for today, tomorrow.
I
Okay.
believe we were thinking about investigating the company, though, the mining company, Martian Mining Corporation, MMC, weren't we?
I'm also curious about
Yeah.
maybe we should go check in with the Fox lady who gave us these things, who gave us these papers.
Because apparently she's on. She was on Mercury Station. You could go look into her. Captain, do you want to do that yourself? Do you want to take some people with you, or do you want to order some people to do it?
I've already met with her once.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that myself, and then we can get some other folks maybe want to go look up, meet with another scientist. Does anybody have a preference for going to investigate the mining core, coming with me, or doing science stuff?
Well, with the mining core, we have our dead scientist who was replaced by the Thermionic Empire.
Right.
And so if we go ahead and follow his steps back to the MMC, then maybe we could see if something is happening over there relatedly, because he would have had access to that as well. I've already made a couple of passes at our dear scientist. I wouldn't mind meeting her again.
I think you made a positive, yeah, impression. So yeah.
Okay, well, I think maybe Boris and I should go then. And would anyone else like to come with us, or would others like to investigate other angles?
I'll tag along with you two.
Good, we'll go
Okay.
drinking together.
Let me grab your tokens real quick. Sorry, I haven't had a new map prepared yet. So let's see. How come I can't see your name?
Because that's a 2-step process.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see. Do we have a token for Lancer yet?
Yes, I do.
I gave him a character sheet, which means he can make his own token.
That's right. Here it is.
Mhm.
If I could work his freaking name out.
So did one of you
There you go.
give yourself the name of a emoji?
That wasn't me.
Yeah,
Here's my token.
Yeah, you need to change your token's name.
Yeah.
So, and no one checks show.
We have
nameplates,
no
so I can
control,
only
only
check
you do.
the-
I just did
Right.
it now.
Yeah, only
I
you can
do
do
that?
that. Yeah,
That's right.
we can hand enter the names.
Yeah, you need to
but
change your. Well, you need to change your. Go ahead and Arcloid. Go ahead and change. There we go. Okay.
Wonderful.
So, team professor is going to be Boris, and who else?
And Proteus.
And me, yep.
Proteus and the captain. And you're going to send Lancer, the person who knows nothing of how commerce has changed in the last 30 years, and Ralph, a career criminal, to the corporate offices.
That seems like a reasonable thing.
I see no problem with that.
I could also go to the
Actually, that's
corporate
probably
office.
not that bad, because corporate law probably hasn't changed that much in the last 30 or 40 years.
It's all
I
bureaucracy.
mean, I am good at negotiation.
And he is also a good negotiator.
I am a good negotiator, even though
And I
I don't
guess
know what the hell's going.
Somehow, despite the fact that he's been in suspended animation for the last 50 years, he talked himself into a ranking position of the Space Patrol.
Well, the Space Patrol, man, I just have a way with words.
Oh, what did you pick as your anachronistic object?
It's actually a pinstripe suit from back in my day.
Nice.
So
Okay.
yeah, when I'm not in my space suit, when I'm not in my space jumpsuit, I wear a 3-piece pinstripe suit, and everyone else is wearing like future fashion.
Fancy.
And I'm like, and I still have like the fedora hat and everything. And I'm like, a proper gentleman always has to wear a hat, and I'm like, I don't understand why nobody wears a hat anymore.
I love it.
And I guess by the looks of it, Corvus, you want to come with us? Or
I have no plans one way or the other, so wherever the captain
Captain.
is, I guess.
To make it simpler, I think you'd probably send Corvus to go talk to the professor, because he might be the only person who understands anything.
I
that
mean,
you said.
unless you were giving me some sort of weird directive to make the chair that you didn't want me to make.
Okay, so the team professor, you have to go find the professor. I'm going to suggest that's going to be rolls of mind and questioning. Did anyone get local knowledge of Estelle Station from
ooh,
last
I
year?
did.
I believe you all did. The only person I'm looking at is Dr. Corvus, who might have already sold it back.
It's already slipped my mind.
Okay,
I've got it.
so I mean, that's what I'm going to suggest. It would be mind, questioning, and a bonus D10 for your local area knowledge, as I misspell everything. Because
Captain, do you have questioning?
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I do indeed have questioning, yes.
Okay,
What is it?
I will assist you.
I have a questioning of D6.
Okay.
I don't help at all.
One moment,
Wow.
I will enter in my things here. Just a minute.
Everything
Night
seems
comes quick.
upside down compared to this map.
Night comes quickly on Mercury Station, and then day is here. Just I forget how long the day is on Mercury.
Very long.
I mean, you'd want to live on the.
It's tidally locked.
Yeah.
I recall you describing.
It's on a 1/3 resonance with its orbit.
You'd want to live on the equator between night and day anyway, to keep the temperature balanced.
A
Makes sense
length of a Mercury day is 58 days, 15 hours, 30 minutes.
Okay. Well, with 3 successes, it's not that hard because you go, let's see, if I was a professor, I'd be living frugally. Sorry, I was just looking up details on Howard Johnson recently. So here we are at the Howard Johnson on Mercury. I'm so old. No, actually, Hasselstoff, made accommodations at the hotel. Coincidentally, in fact, after you make some inquiries about asking if anyone's seen her and you use your space troll, plus also you have authority, right? You actually are an authority, right, Captain Proteus?
That is correct, yes. I have authority.
Right. So when you flash your badge and say it's a matter of security, people will actually talk to you. But your path for looking for her goes back to the same hotel where you discovered the agent, because she's in a different room in the same hotel.
Dun dun dun. Now, is there more than one hotel?
Let's see. Not on Mercury Station is pretty small, so I would say no. There pretty much is only one commercial hotel, but there are the mining consortium places have their own accommodations. So
Interesting that she doesn't seem to live here then.
No. In fact, you don't. She is not. Well, there are no citizens of Mercury. This is an outpost. In fact, your inquiries, you have 3 successes, right?
I believe so, yeah, I think so.
Okay. So, let's see. Okay, so actually, Dr. Hasselstoff is from Luna University. She's actually, there is no Luna University. The Luna actually isn't populated. So, no, she's actually a professor who used to be at Jersey Empire University. But after you make a couple phone calls, looking for her while your agents are combing phone books and stuff like that, Professor Hasselstoff has taken a leave of absence from the university. So she's actually not a practicing professor. She's actually been gone for 2 years, which isn't that weird, but it's kind of like her sabbatical ran out a year ago. So effectively, she's been fired.
Okay, interesting.
And you have 3 successes. So you using your keen bureaucratic instincts, also your minions, make another couple of phone calls because, long distance phone calls from Mercury to Earth. Actually, I think all you would find out was that, she went on a sabbatical. And she shows up as a person of interest in a couple other thermionic cases, but you'd actually have to requisition those case files.
Interesting. Okay.
Who knows how long those will take to get here?
Well, you could requisition them that have been sent to Mercury, or you could go to Earth or the Moon yourself in your rocket ship and look them up yourself.
Why don't we? I would say we put in a requisition and then talk to them first.
So you put in a requisition. Okay. I'm not going to make you make a roll of mine in academics because you have with your administrative skills, you fill out the requisition form.
I stand in line
and then you wander off to go look at the hotel. I assume you're just going to be casual. You're not going to do any weird preparations or get any atomic weapons before you go there.
No, nothing strange.
Dr. Corvus, do you have any preparations you need to make?
I mean, I already have atomic weapons.
Yeah, and I think your gadgetry die is full, so you don't actually have any issues, do you?
No. What planet was she from? Earth, you said?
Yeah, she's from Earth.
Yeah. The problem with trying to detect thermionics from Earthlings is that they're the same, basically.
And Piot, help me out here. Are we using Earthling for people from Earth? Because we're using like Venusian and Martian.
Yep, I'm using
Tellurian.
Earthling, given all the different species, like all the different, like, you know,
We're just
like
gonna use
dogs and
Earthling.
cats and raccoons. I'm just saying Earthling, yeah.
We're not going to have like Marslings or Plutolings or anything.
If
like
you
that.
want to, you have Marslings.
Well, I mean, isn't
Plutolings,
nationality is different from species, right?
Plutonians. Yes.
Yeah, but wouldn't you be an Earthian if you're from Earth?
I'm happy with the term Earthian as well. I think I used Earthling in the book.
Earther.
Earthoid.
So then would you just become a Martian then?
In fact, it's been pointed out.
The typical sci-fi is Earther.
Yeah.
Earthling or Earther.
Earthling or Earther, I think we'll go with. It's been pointed out to me that technically somebody from Venus is a venereal. So,
No,
be a Marsling.
Usually it's Venusian.
I'm from my province is called Ontario, so I'm technically an Ontarioian. That is the official term, Ontarioian.
Ontarioian. Okay, so you saunter off to go do some legwork, and Captain Proteus is actually going to come with you.
What is she? What species is she?
Hasselstoff, she is a fox.
Could I make a detector to detect foxes? A fox detector?
You could.
It's just a wolf in a pinstripe suit that his eyes bug out whenever he sees one.
Yeah.
You make an Earthling, or that. I was about to say, you make an Earthling detector and then lower the gain.
The foxometer is off the charts.
Yeah, I would like to try and make a fox detector.
Okay, go ahead and roll. Preferably not a station. Okay, bring her here. Okay, is that enough for a
Add
kit or
one utility mod to an outfit, or 2 utility mods to a kit.
Yep. So what do you want? Do you want a box that detects it, or do you want an outfit that detects it?
Yeah, I'll add it to my outfit.
Okay. So you turn and look at Piot, Fox content, 20%. Not a match.
Well, I mean, it's helpful in a crowd.
Okay. And what does a Fox detector look like? Is it like a big monocle or something?
Well, I mean, it has to be of the era, so it's probably a box with like a rotating satellite dish on it.
Well, it's part of your outfit, so I would think it's like...
Yeah, well, I imagine it's like... Part of my outfit to me is like straps coming over the shoulders, box in my chest, rotating thing.
I love how like the two of you guys are showing up like, we're a big, handsome space agents we're going to talk to. And with you is this big, giant guy with a probe. Beep, story checks out.
We brought our mobile satellite with us.
But meanwhile, okay, so Lancer and Summers go to check up on the mining consortium. What skills do you have that are useful on finding out what corporations are up to?
I have negotiation in academics. So
that you could go and ask to see some people and look through their records. That would be completely appropriate. What about your wingman?
I just have the academics. I'm more of a hands-on kind of guy.
Okay. So using your credentials as Space Patrol, the Mercury Mining Consortium is, of course, here representing corporate interests who want to go ahead and get Masrium rights to Mercury. Mercury, as far as prospecting can tell, is the biggest resource for Masrium, which is one of the key components in spaceship. If they can successfully petition that the Mercurians are not a sentient species, they could exploit the whole place. So that's a thing.
Gotcha.
So you can know that with no successes at all. So you will go to the building itself and talk to the polite receptionist and I guess try to gain access. I'd like you to make a roll of mind and negotiation. Oh, sorry, will and negotiation, because this is going to be a lot of forcefulness.
Ooh, I was hoping it was mind.
You discover early on that your charms are not, but hey, that's still two success. That's still two successes. Ralph, are you gonna like lay low, or are you also going to like say, "Pretty please, can we get in?"
Well, unless I could use my local area knowledge, I have no help here.
Unfortunately, Mercury
I'll
Mining
just head
Consortium
back.
is not local, so you're just going to hang back. Okay, well, so Lancer, go ahead and when the pretty cat receptionist talks to you, what sort of charm do you put on them to get them?
Well, of course I come in like you don't recognize me, like I was the guy they thawed out of the ice a few years back. You remember? John
That's
Lancer,
true.
space pioneer.
That's a real war hero. Wow,
Yeah.
you must have stories of the atomic wars and how you fought up. I forget
It's
who
like-
the bad guys were in the atomic wars.
We can just
Yeah,
make
do
them
we have
up.
bad guys in the war, or is it just everybody agreed it was a bad idea?
The bad guys were just, it turned out that Earthers were the real monsters, kind of thing. Yeah.
Turns out we were the real monsters.
So
I'm so glad you fought us, the real monsters.
he was like, "Yeah, I remember back when there was no outpost here, and I used to sling past those mountains over there, fighting the enemies."
Well, that's actually totally crap because you never actually left Earth. But
She doesn't know that.
no. Yeah. So she'll and you want to know, what do you want to know about our records?
Well, I mean, out of character, what are we here to look for? Like, what are we trying to find from the corporation? Because I'm still not 100% clear.
One of their scientists is dead and was replaced by a thermionic spy.
Right.
Okay. So
Yeah.
we're trying to find records as to when exactly that happened. So we're just trying to find records on this scientist.
Okay.
Yeah, and if maybe he came back and messed with stuff.
I can't remember.
And I apologize. What name did I give you for the spy? Because I'm looking through my notes. I can't find it real quick. Did you guys write it down?
Sorry,
I forgot. I don't think he
Okay.
really had a name.
I'm going to go with John Q. Spy here.
John Q.
Sorry.
Spy.
No, I'm going to go with John Quisling. There we go.
John Quisling.
So you were looking up Dr. Quisling. So you want to know what happened with Dr. Quisling. She happily takes you back to, and even though this is like, so they have all modern record systems. They have it all on the Memex system, which is a microfiche system that you can go ahead and operate. Operating this system, of course, would be a role of mind in academics.
Gotcha.
With an extra D12 if you have the research, which I don't think you guys have.
Nope, I don't have research, but I do have a pretty decent mind.
And you seem like nice, polite people in the Space Patrol, so of course we'll let you look through all this.
And I will be assisting him since I know the modern stuff better than he does, but he has the better academics probably. So
okay.
I've got a D8 and my mind of D8. So
all right. So the assistant rolls, and if he can score at least 1 4 or better, he will give a bonus D8 to John Lancer. The good news is crime hasn't changed that much in the last 50 years.
I think that's 2 successes.
Okay. So that's
1D8.
Yep. So that's a bonus. So that's mind, academics, and a bonus D8 for John Lancer.
Let's see what this works.
Okay. So you start looking through the records to see when this because this guy had forged credentials for Dr. Quisling, and at first, I'm sorry. Well, actually, it doesn't really matter that much. Ralph, do you have the Streetwise?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you would. I should have let you roll that because Streetwise is experts in all sorts of crimes, including forgery and impersonation.
Oh, well. Should I, or is my roll there good enough?
2 successes is pretty much enough. And like I said, most of what you're saying is looking for the irregularities. Mostly, like stuff that Lancer, both you and Lancer can see that most of the records here are microfiche. That is, they've been photographed from paper records and then put on very tiny little film because it's a retro future. But both of you can see telltale signs of doctoring.
Cutting and pasting.
Yeah,
I remember back in the Atomic Wars, they used to do this kind of stuff all the time.
Yeah. Like, I'm not really Lancer. That works fine. No, I'm just joking. Right. So you can see that this is an expert forgery and possibly would have fooled some of the experts. While you're working on this, someone comes into the records room to come talk to you. It is a short possum fellow wearing a very nice suit. Not as nice as Lancer's, but more fashionable, up to date. He says, "What's going on here? The secretary's informed me that there are space patrol agents in here."
That's right. Astro Patrol business.
"You guys are
Who are
space
you?"
patrol agents?" he says, looking at the two of you.
I show him my badge.
Yes,
Oh.
sir.
Story checks out. "Well, I'm sorry. This is highly improper that you should have the way you've gone past normal security."
It's a matter of planetary security. And I,
Yes.
and I give him a half-lidded cat look like, "Do you need anything else?"
"I do. After the irregularity we had, I almost lost my life yesterday at that horrible raid. How come if your space patrol agents are so great, why couldn't you prevent that sort of tragedy from happening?"
Actually, we did kind of prevent that tragedy from happening, and that's why we're here. So if you stop interrupting us, and I point back to, I hope homeboy back here is kind of looking a little bit rougher than I am. My associate here can continue on our work, and we can keep Earth safe from every threat.
Yes, we're afraid you've let a Talarian agent into your midst. And
Thermian.
What?
Oh, it's
Well,
Talarian.
it's the same thing, actually. The Thermionic Empire is on the planet of Telluria. And at this, the executive guy goes, "What? That's absurd. We have a rigorous background check process in all of this. You can see everything is up to date."
Except right here, sir.
Yeah, we start pointing out, like, yeah, when you look at this page right here, you can clearly see this was doctored. And then you scroll over and you can see right here, this was clearly cut out and changed over. And like, it's understandable that you guys in the future, being that you're all so goody nice and on the honor code and all, couldn't pick up this kind of stuff. But back in the day, this kind of stuff used to happen all the time. It takes an expert hand to get this kind of forgery done. This is definitely the work of a secret agent.
"Gasp! That is terrible news," he says, with a look of a blank-eyed possum stare.
Is there any way for me to check if he's lying or not?
That would be questioning and I believe mind.
Or how about observation? Can I use my observation?
They're rote, where you can just say, "Hey, I'll just take one success for every 2 days." So unless you want to roll, he actually looks sincere for just a casual observation. So, but yeah, he'll say like, "Well, this is terrible because if there are thermionic a fifth column inserted into our expedition, like our entire bid here is that we want to bid on Mazria mining rights. If you've got evidence of foreign espionage agents infiltrating, they'll never give us the contract because we're not secure."
Right. So I guess it would be in your best interest to just let us poke our little head in here without officially asking for like warrants and subpoenas and official inquiries and all that bit. Because isn't a lot of Didn't our boss say there's like 4 or 5 different paperworks that we got to fill out to get all that started and all that? And I just figured we just come down here and just look at a couple of pictures and just figure it out. I don't know. What do you think?
Please let me go ahead and assist you. Let me give you my card. My name is Brack Winson.
Brack Winson. Nice to meet you.
Yes, I represent the Winson Metals, who is part of the consortium, and I'm also a voting emeritus member. Basically, I'm very extremely important. I mean, he says it better than I do because I'm in a rush here, putting his fingers in his lapels. So,
gotcha.
No, not that guy. They're showing me pictures of Brack.
So, gotcha. Nice to meet you. My name is John Lancer.
Yes, I already took your badge names, Lancer and Summers here. If there's anything I can do to assist you in your criminal investigation, please let me know, as the Thermionic Empire represents a threat to all money and commerce everywhere.
Absolutely. That's what we're here for. Defending freedom and prosperity throughout the solar system.
So you're saying this this John Quisling was actually a fifth column agent the entire time. I've never met the man, but I can see.
Not the entire time. He was replaced by an agent.
Yeah, it says you've got the form here where he actually managed to secure an invitation all the way to this meeting. Gasp! He would have flown up with us from Earth itself to come here. To shudder to think he could have assassinated any one of us. This is terrible news indeed.
Absolutely terrifying. That's why we're here. Now,
Well,
if you don't mind, we're going to do some more investigating. If we need anything, we'll make sure to let you know before we take it. And I go back to the microfiche.
Right. Well, you'll do some more research and you'll find out that, Quisling would have been murdered on Earth. The real guy would have been murdered way back on Earth. So you would have to actually go to Earth to give closure. You could file a report and have some other Space Patrol agents look into it. You could go to Earth to investigate it yourself or do something else.
All right, so that's what we found out. Died on Earth, replaced by a Thermian.
Yep. So the good news is it wasn't Quisling himself. The other 4 guys who showed up, you also, while you're here, do some digging, but they didn't really have any ID on them. You think from some of the records that Quisling here imported, he may have doctored some. Not only are his records doctored, but you start looking up cross-referencing things in the same time frame, and you can find some other passenger tickets of where these other 4 people came from. Everyone, all those agents probably came from Earth.
Okay, so we've identified 4.
Put it in a report, and it's not very interesting.
Okay, so we found 4 Thermian agents out, like 3 besides Quisling.
Yeah, because you weren't here for that, but there were 5 people who attacked. 4 of them just did obvious, and Quisling was a plant in the audience that while they were distracted was going to murder everybody.
Gotcha. Okay, so basically I figured out how they managed to sneak themselves onto this meeting. Okay,
so I'm going to go ahead and switch gears while you're doing all of that. You guys go to the hotel with your Martian and his giant Fox detector. And you can ask at the front desk and flash your ID. And the manager will take you to room number 23. And unlock the door for you.
Does anyone answer if we knock first, though?
Oh, that's right. You want to knock first. No one answers when you knock.
Okay, then we'll get the manager to open the door.
He enters, and it looks like a clean motel room. It looks like it's been turned down, and there's no evidence that anyone has ever been here.
Dr. Corvus, can you detect any sign of Fox molecules here?
Immediately. That's going to be a roll of mind and observation, and add your Gizmo's breakdown dice. Meanwhile, an obnoxious cat appears. Is the mic picking him up?
Yep, a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, back. I'll make him stop.
It's not
That's okay. It's urban jungle. It's fitting.
Do you have a favorite use of observation yet?
I do not.
Do you want to take with my gizmos?
Yes.
I figured you would. Go ahead and re-roll 1-1. Because your mind's what? D8?
D6.
D6.
D6. Oh, I would have thought you were
still not a success.
All right.
Oh yeah, no, I always go down on the species and the career or whatever. Those are my first.
Okay, that makes sense. But yes, after sweeping the place may have been turned down, but of course, you will. It hasn't been like vacuumed or bleached. There is evidence of fox dander. There was a fox here.
Yeah, I mean, if they were still supposed to be here, then I have to wonder, turned down for what?
Oh gosh, the whole building's shaking suddenly.
I'm so glad we have cameras. You can see me grow. Actually, also with 2 successes, not only when you're looking at the place, it looks clean, too clean. There's stuff missing from the bathroom's been cleaned, all this kind of stuff, and you can ask the guy at the front desk who will say like, well, there's somebody living here, so there's like no sign of any luggage or anything, but there's signs that they were here. But he'll also say like, to my knowledge, she hasn't checked out.
So it's been super cleaned, but not too cleaned, is what you're saying.
You got 2 successes. The dander that you would find is there is also an impression on the floor, and you will find droplets of iron-based blood. You think the reason why the signature of a fox is bigger here is there might have been a struggle and someone tried to clean it up, but failed to defeat the micronic sensation of senses of your fox detector.
What species of the solar system do not have iron-based blood?
Mercurians.
Just Mercurians?
Well, the xenoliths, but those are energy beings. I think the Plutonians are silicon-based. So,
Did you say we found iron? We found iron-based blood?
Well, I'm joking because the Martians. Are the Martians carbon-based? The Martians are carbon-based, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Oh, because the Martians would have that. No, I'm just being like technobabble. No, not, it's not only blood; it's fox blood.
Okay, fox blood.
So it looks like there was a struggle here, but some people cleaned it up.
There's fox blood, but there's not fox blood?
I'm overspeaking. Not only is there signs of fox dander, there's also signs that a fox was thrown to the floor with rough force.
No, sorry. I'm just trying to double circulate the evidence here that there's not other blood here that's not fox blood. Like, if there was a struggle, the other participant in the struggle did not get injured in any significant way.
Yeah. In other words, only the fox bled, no one else bled. There's no other.
The poor professor didn't pull a knife.
You will find 3 other samples. But you would have to take these back to the lab to identify them because you only have a fox detector.
Right. I mean, I can without a doubt say that this sample, not fox.
Yeah. 1 fox sample, 3 other people here weren't foxes. And all of it was here, implying there was a struggle where people were getting tossed around and ejecting fluids.
4 people were here. Force. 1 was a fox. 3 others were not foxes.
Mm-hmm.
Can we?
I'll turn to the manager at this point, I think, actually, and say, do you know the last time that she checked back into her room at all?
I'm a busy man. I manage the only motel on all of Mercury. I don't sit here and monitor people's ins and outs.
Well, show me who was working here yesterday, then.
Shrug. I don't know what you guys expect from me. Bunch of bureaucrats making it difficult for us working class people.
I'll make it even more difficult if it doesn't.
Paperwork is the foundation of a civilized society, sir. I'm
going to live out in the wilderness by the time I'm done with you, Captain.
I love you guys.
Dr. Corvus. Dr. Corvus is with us, yes? Can your device track the missing fox?
I would assume that the device would be able to, if I can find a trail of dander, then I can.
Well, the trail would lead outside into the Mercury climate-controlled station. So possibly it is you could try, tracking them using Ascent, especially now that you have it identified. So do you guys want to start walking through the streets like a bloodhound with your Martian guy here and this giant probe?
My fox divining rod.
I think
if you think you can pull it off, or one of us could stay behind and try questioning the staff.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Boris wanted to question the staff.
Okay.
So if we're going to split up in this manner, then I would like...
Should we split up further, or should we just talk to the staff first and then use the fox detector? Because it's clearly... she's been taken, and she's probably been gone for hours. So she's probably not, we're not going to find her, going down an alleyway.
So your estimation is that time is not a factor?
In fact, you guys are like at, I mean, going by a 24-hour day, which has arbitrarily been applied to Mercury Station, this is like, you guys are like 1, 2 a.m.
Right. Time, you are correct. Time is of the essence. All right, Boris, you should go talk to the hotel staff.
Okay,
And
so
Dr.
Boris is going
Corvus and I, the chase is afoot.
Okay,
Is a
so
chase.
Boris, you will roll your, since you guys are in a hurry, Boris, you will roll your speed questioning and a bonus D12 if you have local knowledge. Proteus, you can roll your mind observation and local knowledge to assist. And Dr. Corvus, you will roll your mind observation and a bonus D8 because you already know what DNA and stuff you're
Despite
concept,
the fact that I did bring up time as a factor. How long does it typically take me to put a device together?
Usually in the rules, it's a single action.
Right, so could I put together a device, some sort of truth detecting device, to aid Boris?
You could make a lie detector device that would give Boris a bonus, and it would be basically a breakdown die that tries to detect lies.
The same as a detector of a 2d10 breakdown, right?